Dinde ekua asante ba mensa na so hwe me wo emra no se sen e wo UTV so sene e fa bibi knowledge is power nimdie e ma to me nti na emra no se sen wa ha ye educate mu about issues bordering on legality ene emra no sene aya hyehye na e boy ho ban wo Ghana hanom no ene me studio hanom me ne lawyer Kweku Paintel ye senior partner at Paintel & Co a omo adabraka ene ye ba nkomo ye frɛ bibi eye contempt me ye sure say mate ye station so kwa me sure some time ago ye nya issue kakra where ye panelists ni bi enya issues sebe nsɛm a na koso court no ense so mo ka ho asɛm no me say omunya issues kakra bi enne ye baba be cheche what contempt really is. Contempt no ye den na den kwa bo na wo be ya sebe wo be form court na ma mo de ko edu bi ye frɛ no contempt no abo ye kwaje nkrato aba ye ba me ne lawyer ebe hwehwe nkomo na yesua ne ma bebe ye nkomra Rano saying UTV ya na wo hwe ye lawyer Kweku Paintel and then so me da was I want na ma kan fanto na so yen kon fante we and that's what that's that aba me hwe man of carefully ha de me pede ebo we yen conversation ya na yen komo ya egbe na ebo wie na ebobo me charge the ma atomra nti contempt na wo cheche mu ye na mu hu na man kasa metine he man tombra ai contempt no ya beze
yo say yakade contempt the obi aye bibi o say he's in contempt of court and ask the obi aye bibi ya fan contempt kakra ma cha sign the aye there amfa obu ana enyidze amfama court dem na motuma chem simply obu a awode nche court nya ana enyidze awode dem ma court enti no ayede obi a waye bibi audited share court nanyim da amfa obu amfama court dem na machira no nso contempt nye nsama wo court nkoten na contempt motuma atunipa onu yin de ye normal court Ghana court ye wo shasa if magistrate court na ko circuit court na ko high court na ko court of appeal na if you na ko supreme court only the normal court we have but ye wo other adjudicating bodies ani embrem baby sha wa hihya wotum so wotin sam a won from her court shag kwa motum my friend dam commission on human rights administrative justice equal Yan nananum what traditional councils na your judicial committees of traditional councils what's words in some home the mara so na mbra fam no wo ku anaso de body sibia was home in some ko honyima wo yen pensem da me bia mabobo nyina ba biara asam ho would asam se ekotu anamontu bi onfa nyimdze ana obu onfa madame bia na onu na wose there you are in contempt na wose you are in contempt or ched aye bibi otosin aye bibi nche onyi da ye omama asam kro na wodro ho no obotuma ye den affect no mamanka mabro from monto
contempt or a crime
contempt is we call it quasi criminal. So I'll say crime, quasi criminal in there. There were civil cases, there were criminal cases. A civil case, I mean, I be that some from who I be that me be your woman be assault, battery, defamation, now keeping a wild dog on your premises, now only a civil case. What are you, BB?
Dog on my premise. I will.
Aye bibi mbra fam no also as a criminal offense nti on your fan civil on mankasa na masama on your saman da me masama wa aboko jeje yim on your fan civil case criminal case ye mbra ho aye fa no the criminal code or the criminal offenses act no on na wa chirem ade biara o man mbra tia Adivia, what they call murder, call all of them, espionage, treason, armed robbery, prostitution. Nina under the mresha da home. No so ye mbra man ashisha to hode. The margin you do be aye. Aye chiwade samaka da ma chiwade. Iya ono so mreso on your friend criminal offenses. Na contempt ono wagana hesesia no ya sheda anhihye mra bi into home or chere contempt no dem ameka de ehwe criminal act ekoma botum ehu. Every offense is defined. Stealing is defined. Armed robbery is defined. Murder is defined. Ni nyina ho contempt bibi nyi hodam. Contempt no some chrema I the BBR or whether one can say the one answer the 200 the madi the mokwan mafada onya kwan papa wa bra asam wo quarter wodi ade biara baye o mama asam ngina yei ade biara baye am obi gina kira the orokodo court no hu ne yei suban biara sometimes no court baye order or the impedido o se me fa ye adwuma ni nyina ndama bebre ne ye kan bom ye fa contempt na ono ye fa quasi criminal ono ya civil ono so nshada anya criminal into the front I there monkey if a monkey onye nipa ono so nshada ya aboa oye nipa na abontem into the criminal contempt to city
mamu ntwa wana kase aka bibi today one for the bibi record or court e bia on say work kan ho asa na kan ho asa mpo obeyeyi memi pisa enye there's a na confusion kakra wo ehunye ne na edwume na yeyi most of the time bia na asem wo ho ongoing case bi wo record or court na aze but enye nso so ye edwuman Miss Morton or there ye ka asam no ho nchechemu kakra kama wona wo hwe telephone ana da o mamba fu ni nyina wo eden what e bi no won so hu mo record. How do we draw the distinction? Yeah, himfa never draw a line in day. As some Americans, Mamma and Kun could do her, Miss More by a bio obetiam man, and I miss more by your obstruct of maybe justice.
What's our football on watch it? Lemon painful car. Into a summer bar, our court. Obia to come on some. Motu and Fatuni a baby. Only imagine some crazy on the motu with them fatun. There, Ebia Mitzi, what the Marquagina court, there, my BB, able to a criminal offense, able to a civil offense. I bear some more court to know, you will be able to face allegation in child to do. In child to do, no, shredded that what I told you, no, we yet them wakano. See, I bear some like a court, man, a court about by Yeshim. Into no something there, Ebia Macobo a poor imagine car. What should share something way I want to me from the me.
Okay.
Now, my was so about television, why not so? Into cancer now will be Jira. Now, I can't oh, Sana go to ye. What I was something yo. As someone I judge about Shisham no Shisham no. I want the television they was some. It is obedient a chira, I drink chira, and I should have drawn in the now someone was there, and I didn't where we had that. Inti said, Madam Master no queen pass home. Nessa, a sensible query in a court name where the minimum dinner. Not cheddar no point defamation here come. I create perception in the minds of the public in such a way there. Judging what we opponents are 1 yard and also judge Yazan, more minor, as some of by Mobias. Papa no kweke anu na ye contempt no contempt na what outside court na ebu asam e court a judge no mu asam no on kan wie kasa baka mo obenya adwene bi de kwa bia do no nyipa no wa yaadze no otia contempt bra no
asam ne zi botum
aka
na mo
kan ye
may can miss more by in what we work in trying to give my opinion and more try that may imagine maybe imagine I can biased.
But yeah, biased. What too much maybe a wide name no ye number can see the p that then why I allegation kada allegation. Also that court e bua some there papa ko wi ade onto me kan because even in defamation no truth does not truth is a defense, truth does not defame. Na asam biara e wo court journalist na ye wo ha wakasin de asam na wo court na oye kwadu na wada to obi do no wo beto TV do a obi kan ma osidu pi da papa no wa ya de no se edikodu da me bia ne da na judge na dwuma ye awon ya judge na se sabi e kwakire yipa nde oguduru ye pa get the court no we conclude there kwan na wo hu no oyada waye memo example in our laws yambrem no murder if we go court na kakada you are guilty to cry the law says they must enter a plea of not guilty for you aya by law even whereas man me here Mr. Kanin no what's the judge on here then enter a plea of not guilty judge no on fan show woman mu die no if not about shishim into between that time question bi da san bokwe we no wo de nam there papa no o ye wudi papa yi ono kokko simesi na chede ebu asam no na se wore ebu da no yele judge ye adwuma that's just one contempt bebre mis contempt dosu na jide ye tutu ni din na wo da hye we adwuma ase ehun where me be affect no na aka no nti kakra maka cha journalist very simple in there one amu ye de ndwuma ni na no asam na Canada Morte pepepe the man is alleging there what's there na mbom no won hwehwe me wie shronedam
so that time there yes a
that is so
na yes Sanembra court a criminal na ina echeche as why the case I yan friend that asam na we reason bia na asam no a civil case na ye wan sem bi so a we reason or your criminal case inti contempt no so was there bowa is it based on asam krona we reason at the time when you be okay them contempt or there's a criminal offend intent be or techi another them contempt is a portion and civil
okay but mean there's a basic division cheddar contempt no your pay man your contempt no ebien you will be a fan civil contempt na you will be a fan criminal contempt civil contempt no definition in chase na sample nyina there asam wo court judge no why ye bibi mama for example judge na ma injunction wa ma injunction me na ma sama asama bi da ya asam wo court asase na ye twehuma so mo judge kwana asam no rekọ no se insist nyipa no da mo ye adwuma ye bo wie ne we sidan ye sida na me wi na we dem ba fa hen na judge insist nyipa ni na we sis owara nyipa na wa asama on da man ka ye adwuma na bo asam no nyimtia bebera court by your order also be kwende monye bibi nyipa no bu fada aya civil contempt
okay
civil contempt na civil contempt it takes me I tell some fa hodidu no it takes me to initiate the action court no say man kwa asase no do emimi dinim na court no ya order no na kwa asase no ntimara na medo baba judge na nyim de owura on so date ishishare yeah the shishare to the injunction the two ho the more down or resident jay time na no imeda san ba na dan no bebia na we se kodo ni ne foyini sara menyu ka se we se dan po ewie ne so ne foyini enti no me pere wo ye den wotwe na so the one for bu amakoto and me mara na me de wa ba order no court ni ya or ye for me against you only civil contempt into no samara mado ba na mama so min de chi so a mra bi ansham because man na match one aba
okay
and order so yeah it is to protect my interest into no if I decide this is very important even with due respect the yidimara lawyers be cry no yeah da min checheme yeah they get it wrong. So it's important that civil contempt consists of disobedience to an order of court that will be made in favor of the opposing party. Opposing party no or the baba it's in the interest of justice there nipanin to me for court in some na order something that go into some do ba na mko do film film some abra nine court to me show by force ara na criminal contempt only outside civil contempt criminal contempt it relates to what we call administration of justice kwana court fadu dinsam na dia owo de nyipa ye onye bibi ebetete court no kwanya odi da asam no do it suban biara oba mama obi gina chira obohu de court no the court no agoro no only criminal contempt no so ne chechem bebre na the basic one mepede yet asin ba criminal contempt in there subanu ye tum to tuni din there asawo court eko hu da sefo wo ya fo yo na ba court but this muso mo ha da me ba yo eko hu na no aya criminal contempt wonyi tum
they will
wa waye ya judges the judge oyedam ehunhuna aya criminal contempt the masamia edibisai asama wo court in kan we na wo journalist akwa ka gina radio station ana akwa aka kiro acho ne ya manyipa wo kan nyina wo bunyipa ne for mama your contempt in there you create in the minds of the public what we call prejudice prejudice in there asam no wo court yes it is subjudice in there ekonko ho nipa no na asam ye nwendanare mpo a wondi nwie ebotu ba ya asasesam ebotu ba ya criminal matter into criminal contempt no irrespective that your civil case and your criminal case into criminal case for instance what do be about court what's you pray we are those are going na subenya ne nyanda no we are the our secondary school no we are the higher than ebu asam no there onam de our past criminal record nti you so obo ka kosi bia no ebu criminal contempt. There are so many examples.
No,
court.
Contempt. Watch you na that do.
Number one number. So we are sure we go. It's not madam. It's no. That's the basic distinction. It's no. Let's put it this way.
For criminal no.
Yes.
Or no. Court na nkasa ubotum.
Okay. So you want no who you are. Telling no. It takes somebody to bring the matter to the court. Now contempt in fasi kuria. On the judge and in Fitemwa, Abako was when one shadi.
I judge no court na the judge Nikiana was Haki, and our lawyer Cassa also Cassa will cheat. In the Muka, only lawyer cried judge but started for contempt. On infancy, name na Gafiliga Dochi. No Obino Baba say, Judge and Ancassa, or best cited for contempt. Now, in all other cases, or there will be no set at the emotion. Indeed, there is authority to the effect that even a stranger to an action. You see, whenever contempt about what essentially what we are dealing with, that you can there, court no ninyimdi, and actually the court no obu all the court nya. It's no when you cite somebody for contempt, asamna the kan na that oh yeah no on share enyimnya ma court no. No nam the judge so tinegwo ma oh yeah ne ni duty na shade da obobo ho modern aye da obia ni ya bibi obeye court ni nyimtia itu no se emi na bibi record judge ni do yen wa e bia record ono bo ho nti me na matwe aba court na in a very large extent no se me even a party to the suit na bi na watch one man so na si akoye bibi e bia na bi mpo wen hu mbra fam no me de ho aba court ama asami de court no obu over the court ni nya no and the binyimpe ore yade a then on fa the mobu no court no nti like all criminal cases no or why you complainant you are only a witness in other words you need not have a personal interest in the matter yes
nti no you are doing it to protect the image of the court because that nyipari ye no agba no judge na bo hwe ne we hu the mensuban say yan then yam brana da na obi de so wakodo wo ya and you pen individual and put away then affect no it will affect the court's own image and so forth and so on. But let me also explain it this way. Lower courts, district court, circuit court, the judicial committees, na that market kano. On no could they been to us when you ma one cassa they can't commit for contempt.
I think I'm remember ho there into judge na one friend there a care could west offend the inquiry in fasciculi no into say contempt near for the osi or judge in him as was will be about court who is asem no judge or kasa no so judge in him judge obotum nankasa we boa asem
why you dey on lower court judge by because you to the magistrate court na nka yan na mabasa ho on the judge no botwa soa obotu am akoloka and that's the danger of contempt. The danger of contempt is there enyimbre na yineshia na nyimbre ni hia no judge no wo mbe ne mu na fitem ho na emphasis Korea na ayer wo judge im na no obobo kwadu wo do bagina dekam na wa bo kwadu de musuban yi wan ono wana ya de musu aboto ai wo ko loko na wo twe won fombra na baba no obechechiro mu because ya de judge bobu obechiro mu sentira e wo ho kwan de ye da wo de ye no enye nchire papa ono de ono omanano no mo na wo twa ono mo na wo twa bi na wakasa woda kokodwe no ho ma de ne tene ono ye emphasis wo judge na nanyim na in all other cases no say BBC or other places because judicial committees be ahensam na nkeka ho ahensam recordo one way na one faction was then by force why then wa kwekose hin wa bi asam na ra wo court wo hwehwem de wona na wo de wo sin hin court ni mu anwie na wada de wo pie akwekese hin no wo ma orushi wo de ba high court a o de to bi kirem ma oye ya enyim de asam na wo dine wondi wie na wada de wo pie because dem sunu na no so de bu asam no sunu na de bu asam no de wankasa akodo akafa wada wo hina pie na akwekese no
na Erika bibi de lower court no wankasa judge na wo mu na ankasa yuntu mu bua contempt case in pede chire mu ho
no from lower tribunals you see the court system you what we call the superior courts of judicature superior court or start with a high court or the court of appeal the supreme court all other courts no lower tribunals even commission of human rights administrative justice what wo yina say bibi kodo no ntwe no obi pede o kan once more the high court into no ko charge na ka yen na maybe on fata no sha wodo no wo pede wo chim de da ye na contempt or wodo ba a high court e ko traditional judicial committee of the traditional councils whether the regional or the national even national house of chiefs they have a judicial committee obi ye bibi o ho mo ntwe ye a wodo na ba high court into all the lower adjudicating bodies in ano obi ka ya de on the ex face Korea either NC or court na kase na nyem NC or court na nyem a on it takes somebody no the application that by high court now it be so question be our no is the mental element no. Contempt in there the standard of proof yo baby I focus man na ambrem no your burden of proof na your standard of proof burden of proof in why no what there or did the city the court ma court ni gituba nipa no we buano for into wa do be have a court abon kwadu the wire then wire awo na wo den ya dem the city no the city no ade kra court hwehwe that been a memo example there why some there court no or order of injunction and nyipa no webu asam no do no why do ye say e de ba court a woden ye the city there the more than aleka no onyipa na abon kwadu no aso onyim oye there not say no wo court when a court in kan another court here order ka 7 copy in fact come on lawyer
remember me engineer here but me pede mu hu I mean what if wo friend the judgment has been given in absentia but how yan kombra yan kajen kato yeba contempt case na ye gudu a ye chechim na share contempt ma lawyer ka say mo hwa chale me budu we sure that we will feel no say bia nti ye ko break ye ba na atedo ai gusua bonkomo afa contempt ye say contempt can the tree lawyer you be can say
the fantastic no I there am for obu abakot ana ebu court imtia no ho nkomo na nde ye gudu a ye twetwe na me lawyer Kweku Pencil senior partner Pencil and Co adabrakana ye gudu a ye bonkomo nti ye bokọ no na Erika bibi de or somebody or de nyipa bi no odo ozedam kwedu no oz action zeba called the asimesi asemi a wo bua ne dey wenzido na so ode nyipa na ezekwedu ne to no do no so or then time na wo bua asam no all court na we hu ana na dem na our dey won na the sideba because court didn't punish obi court didn't hwehwem hu da aye asodin ehun there bro for yes contumacious disregard chede nyipa no wa ata na wa hyada onyim na wa hyada we budo essential to proving the guilt of somebody charged with contempt. Into no order corona what a say court in the year I jinado. My children yet be an order and what the age, but me donnery and fatum madam or there. Such way will order da. Order no, it be done away the modern or the what produce a copy. Auto de bien, Nipana do do that bono. What's something na Maripia ched on him no washada. Because on him on to timbra. It's no quaya or ye oh huni no that I say. You was caught in your quaya, caught your order. Na peda pobia, you were quaya order to me church. Bailiffs no was serve court orders. Into what it's a way some pedem show if you are. No all the kind or the me the city the on so and so day, as so and so time. Bailiff a woman no simesi or the one made the brow. I can it's has it. It can't you and can pay another matter. On what about quarter baby. Na me show baby. So other than there as some work quarter or be a lawyer. Into be what the serve lawyer, be what them a lawyer. Now you will never be on one serve lawyer. Because me it did the man injunction at the bram. Them from my client I made the moon. Now walk about to him.
Let's say the injunction as the minion man is a door call.
Our dog when you pen listen if you don't want direct in the city, then a saka. Because of Buddha, on the by the court. It's no assembly ho bua, you pen upon your court or. But bottom are connect you pen what quine be do. No quine there. Be order no quine what the saves, or the bill our published newspaper, or the bill home what the cattle down, or the bill what is what. Mana what should I say you pen a Sunday? Oh no, not say you pen Buddha, because I be that warrior order another or court warm that. Oh no, the action speaks for itself. It's in the dinner, the number court of judge, you know, who them the money in now. Oh, why that's unben no what they prove. There, I had them the money now. Maybe I can't put you chim and Brahma quite there, a chineba mupa. Over 2 hours, you pen out quite decum, a cadesi, because you be behind what the crowd do what I say. The nina no order to me tre the time na court the order at the corner as you pen able to know. Diana. Time na ye order no for ya ye did destiny. Say sir you can say in for yin a war our tre there the time no na be the lentil level. Say sir we kuro. Into what them kwa doing na bo nyipa no. Nyipa de so areba na defense. Or what to me trem order no e bia na sanka. E bia order na de kan ko nyim. Bia the move for you now, the kid does in a crown, and yan no quite time now the application, when down we say read that.
Mamma for practical, maybe so practical example, Cadania semi will be a woman the mean junction name as but then the mace the do baby natural soon as to as some of the while court won't see. Na nipanem pede abia, no investments how I abia or best say. Crana ebian time wo bobo asem no bo we na ebia waye no kodo oh ebia ma fan chance bi nkogudo na wo fenden ebia mbeneba na ebia yedu ha ya ka no ho asem nipa no o take ebia the steps simple trying to protect ebia property na wo twene ho man so na despite wo fenden injunction ebia was out na no so still yi wetiambra
obeyede na menchira there Obi ebu court ishishedo onu de sidi oho de odi ne pem no den yi de ho bwan na ohyeda da obobudo the American de certain chance dan ko gwade da sabi onu nchede residan chance dan de ko go world na ye da akwabodo fide abira yimi de epede
chance is good go watabo
Everybody be banned. One who kind of court to the mirror judge. A woman that you order for injunction. Let's show at the Jan them all we are. I be up never say. Into Mamma quite number care the Madi on Bumbrado. Yet they be a court by order, but with the example na damano, some your lawyer will case him, but that's the most reasonable thing to do. You don't take the law into your own hands. Now, if you cry, if you take the law into your hands, sabi judge knows one so, or the night bring with the carry them out. Into what to my judge to me, okay, my year within the spirit of the law, mean to me, Kade, the whole one, not die at the Madi. Into now would depend on the facts of the case. I judge at the bottom line is the word or expression contumacious disregard ashada e da hobon na de yade no de bu court no nyimtia on the judge no so ma ono fa wo nchew
intiti dan one lawyer for dey wo too much charge one with contempt.
Oh, lawyers come charge contempt for misbehavior na nkeka ho lawyer bi wo ho ma but when you decide or share that or book client in the way that or yeah no so when you that's another no kwa no ho be che because no yim mra no we mra do and the lawyers occasionally cited for contempt
Inti say what bobi contempt charge na can it be challenged
naturally it's challenged all the time now we be able to go to prison oba no kwa no fa no ko every contempt application is resisted fiercely Amafu batwe obatwe pa na so judge no time the judge will look into it that can be a court no judge mo hwehwe ni nan mu o hwehwe me I've got people convicted for contempt I've got my clients convicted for contempt and scratch my back I scratch your back
na ma kwa aban mutum ma aban ma baba appeal dey bia
I don't put the or charge you no convicted for contempt you can but my application for bail go to our application for bail. Some of the contempt that appeal cry wo bogu. The kwanya ye Jennifer no anaso the judge no bueno yana kwan do no boy. Chehum identity. I remember there's a case expert Peko. Ayo hin be Western region. Now court here injunction. Now obu fado oye na maybe the more he shouldn't go about putting himself out as a chief. Na nika kan ho na ade. Then he went ahead performing his functions. Now, what did the High Court secondary? No bunu for. But when the thing came in the Court of Appeal, it was Justice Benning who wrote that judgment. He said that the institution and the office, or the institution of chieftaincy and the office of a chief, is too important to be made vacant or to be allowed to rest vacant. Now, in that case, so no you can file application, court no pon grant order no. Listen very carefully. My child, you dey bia na court by your order sana. The bibi no court na your application for injunction abanan court say onumpo is sufficient for you not to continue with the act. That's what the chief did. So the Court of Appeal said that in the case of chieftaincy, merely filing an application for injunction does not operate to restrain the chief from performing his functions. In other words, also chieftaincy, there's also a mischievous part of it. Because it means that time you then all you have to do is to file application for injunction. You go to sleep. Not into also in the case of chieftaincy that cannot be. And so the Court of Appeal set aside the judgment of the High Court. So that is the exception to that general rule. There are some other cases. I'm not quite a Labadi case. Expert Republic versus more for expert allote. No, so the man what the application by no court no man will leave there. One can for me the time you require leave in order to file a certain application for prohibition. Court the year the margin no court they went ahead no case one here what do see. 1 year she court in the final contempt. The fact that there was no order of court did not mean they could go ahead and do that. Into contempt to your one who hin. No we are hin papa there. So contempt to so yet the why your order could say no anything that has the effect of prejudicing the trial of the matter.
That brings me to my answer. Into say obi a watching under the criminal contempt and obi a watching under the civil. Do they go through the same procedural aid?
The same everything. In fact, difference behind him in the crowd, there's the distinction between civil and criminal contempt. Nobody even does it. There.
Na friend they be a assembly koduna nkofo sebe wa can send be on fata for judge na or you involved no. The me judge na wa can some na fa no no. Na butu ways in the case.
The answer is yes, and I will explain to you. Yeah, the law of contempt in Ghana. A common law in there, the law as is passed on by judges. Judges now what they say and so what they yambra what they to whom and yada a woman statute watch them pampy into no the common law no is based on experience. That is so. It's based on experience, based on peculiar circumstances there. Whether you did to what you to in it's in Ghana. Here time you shall law practice as you know. If you commit contempt, you be offend contempt. Judge na or yeah the margin na ibu for the na you know what over ba. na odo ba wara bo hu da yes you will be after yagani na korda akodu baby a if you ban there nyipa bi nya adwen mi there no jaja ebu ne brother odo ba na nyima
reminds me of the Montier train
yo jaja ora ebu ne brother odo ba na nyima ye bufu na o moti entin bi du na for ye there efide obi ye bi bo jaja nyima one mama another judge ntin no one the na ko be fom no so ye adwuma be the last 2 or 3 years and a chief justice and here what another directive the be say sia no judge na ye na nyim na na so no boko nti binyure kase asamo judge yim na etunemra na atune bibia ona na nyi na wodo ba no na record
dem na prejudice nso onye ya because ashesha ma quote unquote sabe ashesha ma ho na say ma kasa me face to face say you wo mumu nyina but that's the law I mean you see your idea be another people may not be happy with it but it will go now cause as a Ghana because no will be also the law must not be capricious and arbitrary one go share work again and that's the nipe am ma fomo awona ma fomo na so ebo matan na no yes
let me tell you I Ghana ha no me feel there I fahudi na kodu baby I fahudi po ebudo but that's the law in other places I play before the same judge but Ghana ha no let me just give you a small example. Momo, in fact, your commercial court, your Ghana, the rules, we borrowed it from America, essentially. The judge, you will be for the pre-trial conference. Pre-trial conference, the judge move out transit. Now, why you share some well push it, Mumbo, they want to Ninka, but someone I didn't Ninka. Ghana and the judge know your pre-trial conference, you know. So all you know, yeah, or don't come another judge because every pre-trial conference, what cancel, what show, and I've been muta. There, the mad win case, that's pre-trial conference. But Ghana knows a pre-trial conference here we are now as someone to Mansatra, or do what come another judge, only doing tape. In America, the same judge, the same judge, and nobody accuse a judge of prejudice and whatever there. Into Ghana, yeah, pede. Adibia mono yakutin na yewokwen ade ya nama a judge is a judge tell you but for now that's the position
tell some say men kaya nyama obetitia
bo hu modin da nyama
nenti so what charge will be contempt punishments but punishments we don't was be many hypocrite
asotwe or contempt ma chechirem judge but to abokoko go and say no more I find you guilty, but go and say no more. Of course, number one in there, the judge may discharge you if he doesn't find the evidence. That's the point number one, he will be discharged. Number two, be cautioned and discharged. And then the bobo man quiet the mad in the view. Number three, if you had the a fine, what do I make a fine the face? Judge about to buy car. There, the Madia ye.
Not the miscan of Boko.
Boko the state. That's the annoying thing about contempt in criminal matters. Cannot the Bobono or Quaba Futum.
Even I mean Mazaban, several ones I mean Mazabana were offended. I mean a mere interested party in the crowd. So fine, Bima, the miscan on Bamho.
Oh, Ninyamaka Punji or Quaba Futum. Then finally, the judge can also sentence you to a term of prison. There's no special time, but Mark Sam started law part up to them. My client will go in 6 months or training now. Husband and wife matter. Husband and wife. No, they bring to some. They are man do shit. Cause so, put this 6 months in there. Now there's an aspect of contempt. The judge can also order you to undo. I didn't know quite year na kasano. Judge won't kind of bed for a chapa, so a journalist. For a chapa, I didn't let the baby a coca if you ho. The margin a year. No. The more types of orders, you know, are very dangerous. Or friend, no, putting the key into your pocket. So fear now what the way down. Judge, that's a wukotoku. In the time you will comply with the order, no. Na chede nti judge do abia kata wo ye na ka asam kana meka asa wo court na mo ye in my case that's what happened na kata mo ba ne ka na de kopeme na nka ka ho sem na ba na fa no contempt of court judge ni say okay ma mo 6 months Now, anytime within the 6 months, to the banner kind of brand, you come out.
Come out.
I know what's with the key.
I
don't find what my arrangement. It is a then I judge no sentence so no. The next day now about to my arrangement and I can't wrap him in the bank to the Canada brother. So just 6 months now.
Wow.
That's the most dangerous of the they'll put the key in your pocket. What I didn't quite a year no. So down the question okay. Bubudano, time be able to bubu the sidino, the bar, you will come out. Wow. So these are the kind of things that you can get. Do you have 3 weeks, 6 weeks? Mr. Wogu 6 months there.
Wow, that's long.
So
today, contempt nano yesho. Or day yesho, when you papa in Kubwa, but I think they are very important and so they use the Mazi because oftentimes in your baby you say we radio do TV do nazi and we then send you a door quarter. I mean on
fact there have been cases where some of people court to the on him. Na no lawyer na okay cheda lawyer on your excuse. At that him no lawyer ka chiro na wo so okay
nti the me see for the example there examine na lawyer no so e bi o chendam no so obenya so
court no won charge the contempt won charge the contempt
ya lawyer wa agina mo no say kesi bona
obi adidi wekoku ono wa wujejeje but so na so obi girado dadam nti wode bo no kwadu a ono so na asem different ono so ba obaba ba kirem afuto the man mo kan say no quarrel so on no quarrel ono so because on no na wade na ba court there why you bibi them na we a clever lawyer cry na wo client no ba kada ba san wo nyime bi na judge na so pedesida o there onyim da wodo ye na most judges no nya da wode the masemi wode ba ha ho
but time na ya konti lawyer finally abase na e be ka kire wona we hwen iriabi dey contempt no what are they supposed to know? What better than what one who benefi? Miss more be contempt be on one.
Yo, so say Ghana fanhudi aba obian can be Ghana obia to be kasa kwan biara ope. Or then you penyan the mentas in there. Yes, some na summer walk out to know then you put kill or kasa for her or kill ye no one there. On can be oh yeah, then Nanka Soruboa Samano. Kwa biara botuma kambia nchechem biara wadwen kirempo botuma kirene na man ka asam na mon kodu baby na onye de asami owo as far as you are concerned no nyipa no why the madi enduru hokra that's just one the man na asam so wakota owo the nyipa tum hunde ati biara nyipa ne beye o mama asam na wo court na awo the court no obokwa wiyi no obobua no one kasa brofun say you don't take the law into your own hands. Many people you people bebre wo wadwin bi there I want tra ho man fofon da no kwa there dam tina kasa obeye the bad obeye the mad nyipa no ho na bufu dam no e care the mad wo so mu hwi wo do ba court ehu ye why legal system the way ya ndema court na bi delay nto ya na ya tete the nyipa bi wo ha wo feel no order na kasa ye the mad o ye the mad mbra ma okwan
last they want na 2 cases especially neighborhood neighborhood sometimes na nyipa na ho wonza asem we na every time bia na wo de nyipa na mo those
no kai ya
na say ya police kuma asezi na manfa akọkọ na ohuro offend nyipa na aze na da mazi na onye
mbra
makwan do we
obi okra pa wo lawyer na me bi asida o wo lawyer na di wo client na asam nyipa de fi court be ya no ba yaw wo de kodo wo do be hu be ya madwuma. You have no right to put fear in me.
Phones were bro. They be one day yes show no.
Hey, them na identity. Who a lawyer? Obi so a lawyer. And so beautiful cross there. What would any lawyer do? To be yaw and that kind of thing. But in everyday occupational hazard, yeah, that says and you know. But in your lawyer also you be there. You be in trouble. It's a lawyer didn't ask for pocho. Monday na some. Wo lawyer, you lawyer. Wo so nyabotal. Asam no oya de harabo kwewe okwewe ya judge de bobua o de yenya de ma botar no de me pemper no ya de ma ya court no however they delay. I like to end by saying this, and let's say the wheels of justice they grind slowly, but even though they do, they come to a definite halt. Definite. It grinds. I the train. Train jina. Obia who the train jina. The mana court system nete. Into any now when you are a lawyer, sometimes we feel frustrated by the way your court system run. And so that's all that we have. Into na able to show me kakranti more biala nye bibi about pure no ho oya then what them brand action anka say why you na ma fata. E ye no wo show more do ba but to the prison. Who would jina court judge lawyer be say so say yan a contempt. I have had a case a complainant or you so abusive there judge don't lock more than 3 times. Then now a contempt of court. Andu the work a shake below. Do you know the Jadical rock?
Let's say this court in the put bisa wasem. Yana.
Yano, if you stand mute, I contempt. Your boss, you
oh, asemize. Ebia, meaning who answer. Or they to my boy, one too much. Neither bedroom, like those across the welcome for contempt. Contempt. I was saying, we a lawyer, quick pencil, who free your friend is saying, pencil, and coa, more da braka, and once a papa passing, why educating, and then we miss you be immediate. The mechanic said, Mr. Wa. So, who near Sambia can ocean, who near what she swore out of a cast of Nakawanutu. Kawanutu, no one from I mean, I found conquership. In 10, I am Ranos saying, I will UTV, within the Equa Asanteba Mensa, a contempt. And who and come more any actually, not say, your best issue be more bye.